Justin Baldoni and his PR team are facing horrific death threats and private health leaks as legal battle with Blake Lively rages on.
Her crazed fans of Ryan and Blake are out there trying to extort and harm people and do this horrific stuff.
Blake Lively just got exposed for yet another sinister tactic. This time, she's not just throwing tantrums, she's torching reputations.
You are literally one of the evilest people in the world, terroristically. Your Blake Lively campaign is on par with something you expect from, my idiot. Realize, this is sick.
From threatening Justin Baldoni's family to dodging FBI investigations, her warpath includes arson, doxing, and full-blown career destruction. And yet, somehow, we still see her smiling on red carpets like nothing happened.
Now Justin's PR team is facing horrific threats. And even worse, his business partner, Steve Sarowitz, just faced this crazy person who committed arson and tried to extort the family by kidnapping his daughter?
Let's just get one thing out of the way. Blake Lively is not misunderstood. She's not some soft-spoken, floral-wearing feminist icon. She's the pastel-coated storm cloud hovering over people's lives while sipping champagne at some fake woke gala.
But you see them in Wrexham, they're walking red carpets, they're living their best life.
Her PR halo? Gone. Absolutely fried. And the wreckage left behind? That's not just bad press. That's the FBI showing up because her mess spilled out of the courtroom and into full-blown criminal territory.
This is tragic, man. I want to give you some updates on what's happening on Justin's side of things because, look, Blake's been out there saying, I have these horrible DMs I'm getting. It doesn't sound like it's as bad as this.
Now, while Blake's out here doing photo ops like she's the next Princess Diana of Pinterest, actual lives are being torched, literally. We're talking about real people, not just her fake feminist monologues. Justin Baldoni's entire team is facing threats, trauma, and felony-level drama.
Sources close to Baldoni revealed to Daily Mail that Baldoni and several employees at the agency group set up by Melissa Nathan, have been hit with death threats in the wake of the lawsuit.
Meanwhile, she's strutting around like she's campaigning for Queen of the Universe. This isn't PR warfare anymore. It's a full-blown FBI investigation. And what kicked it all off? A flaming garbage can, and a text message that could have been ripped out of a Saw script.
Court documents filed by Lively's legal team also included addresses of several of the publicists involved in the scathing battle, leaving them fearful for their families.
On April 28th, someone decided it was a great idea to turn Steve Sarowitz's driveway into a barbecue pit. And this wasn't just your usual garbage fire. This one was packed with paint cans and accelerants, yeah. Like they read an article titled, How to Start a Fire the Felony Way.
On what happened here with Steve, because it's just awful.
The house? A modest little place in Highland Park worth $1.8 million. You know, totally normal. Steve Sarowitz, co-founder of Wayfarer Studios and Baldoni's business partner, is one of only 2 billionaires in the area.
Blake's out there signing autographs, living her life, living her best life. And meanwhile, Justin and team are facing horrible consequences. Now, I want to start here because Justin's business partner, Steve Sarowitz, the billionaire who funded Wayfarer, which, by the way, important to also note that Wayfarer, the foundation, has now folded, as we previously reported.
And guess what? He wasn't targeted by accident. Because not long after the flames went out, Sarowitz's wife got a message that basically said, hey, cool fire, now cough up $80,000 in unmarked, non-sequential bills, or your daughter doesn't make it to graduation. Excuse me? What kind of psycho sends that?
Prosecutors say the suspect committed arson at the billionaire family's home in Highland Park. He then threatened to kidnap the daughter if they did not provide him $80,000 in cash.
Oh, and they made sure to sprinkle in some Bond villain language too. This is just a warning. We'll ask for more money later. Because yeah, nothing screams reasonable disagreement like threatening to kidnap someone's daughter and burn down their home.
If you fail to comply, we will take your daughter's name and she won't make it to graduation. At that point, we will ask for more money.
And these creeps weren't bluffing. They followed up with more texts, this time to the actual daughter. Let that sink in. They named her college, her sorority house. They flat out said, "You're not untouchable." Not dramatic enough? They also said, "The next fire will start from the inside." These aren't trolls, these are monsters. And the cherry on top?
They say a garbage can was lit on fire in the driveway at the house around 3:25 a.m. on April 28th. It was filled with paint cans and other flammable accelerants, and it burned to the ground, damaging the lawn.
The guy behind the circus, Eduardo Aragon, 25 years old, was caught using the library's Wi-Fi. Because when you're plotting felony arson and kidnapping, clearly the local library is your ops center. Idiot even confessed. He's now facing charges for arson, 6 counts of intimidation, and harassment. But sure, Blake's just out here standing in her truth.
If you guys are prepared to spend $100 million to ruin the lives of Miss Lively and her family, we are sure you can spare a few for your daughter.
So let's talk about why any of this even happened. Blake Lively. This entire disaster snowballed because she chose to escalate a civil lawsuit with tactics that belong in a dystopian novel. And I'm not done. Because apparently, Blake thought doxing was the next logical step in her campaign.
Blake, what? This is insane. This is insane what this is now all caused. All because he called you sexy? All because of the dumbest stuff on earth? Because you got some bad press?
Her court filings, yep, actual legal documents, conveniently included the home addresses of PR employees tied to Baldoni. That's right. The woman who whines about privacy and screams, "Leave my family alone," had zero issue with exposing the exact location of people she's professionally beefing with. Privacy for me, but not for thee. Right, Blake? Let's talk about Jed Wallace, a 51-year-old PR fixer dragged into this circus for allegedly weaponizing digital armies. What does that even mean?
How much harassment this is? This is the only hope that stews treat you like scum, flesh-eating, vile creature that you are and cancel you. This person should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm sure they know who they are. I'm sure they're seeing this.
Was he leading a battalion of Twitter bots from his living room? He wasn't doing anything close to that. But Blake's team made him a villain in their fantasy script. And surprise, he ended up in the hospital with a heart condition. He was never even served properly. They dropped him from the case later like he was a typo, but the damage was already done. His name was out, his health suffered, and for what?
In the wake of his legal woes with Blake Lively, with one crisis PR boss allegedly having his private health information leaked. Okay, so are they talking about Jed Wallace? I don't know.
Then we've got Melissa Nathan and Jen Ale, also PR professionals just trying to do their damn jobs. Blake's side dumped their addresses into court records like it was Yelp for harassment. The result? These women had to install actual security gates around their homes. Imagine having to turn your house into Fort Knox because a Hollywood actress can't stand a man calling her sexy in a TikTok interview.
We see the damages are all on the side of the victim here. Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Melissa Nathan, Jennifer Abel, Steve Sorowitz, everyone on that side and their friends and families and everyone who worked at Wayfair are suffering while the elitists, while the golden goose, the people who are the special chosen ones.
And it doesn't stop there. One of these women, an actual mother with 2 toddlers under the age of 4, has been living in fear. Not, oh, someone was mean online fear. Real fear. Can't leave the house fear. Because Blake's legal documents didn't just name people, they exposed their families, their kids. But sure, let's talk about how brave Blake is for attending events while ignoring the scorched lives in her rearview mirror.
What they're doing to private people through their actions has caused despicable situations. Look at this. They'll bury you. Dear Tag, this is a message from Melissa. We can bury anybody.
Meanwhile, Blake is out there laughing on red carpets, wearing gowns like nothing ever happened. Not a care in the world. Not a single ounce of accountability. Because why own your actions when you can just throw your team at the mess and twirl off to the next film premiere? And let's be clear, this isn't online backlash. This is felony-level harassment that started with court filings and spiraled into FBI involvement.
Then Steve informed him that the senator was the person who left the president outside with another message. Obviously, at this point, the FBI got involved, and they used the technology and warrants to isolate the sender, and that's where they were able to find the person, the alleged person, Eduardo Aragon of Highland Park.
And yet the media still wants to paint Blake as the innocent one. Why? Because she's good at smiling? Because she wore a pantsuit and said empowerment in an interview? Meanwhile, the people her team endangered are dealing with threats, trauma, and in some cases, building literal gates to survive the fallout. Jed Wallace got a heart attack. A billionaire's daughter almost got kidnapped. Real threats. Real lives.
Then another one on Thursday, identifying her college and the address of her sorority house. Terrifying stuff. Okay, Miss Honor Roll, we all know you're at blank. You guys are not untouchable. You can upgrade your security all you want, and that still won't stop us.
So next time someone says Blake Lively is America's sweetheart, tell them to look at the receipts. Tell them to look at the texts, the leaks, the arson reports, the FBI case files. This wasn't a spat between celebrities. This was an operation that spiraled into something dark, because Blake Lively couldn't handle public scrutiny, and she knew exactly what she was doing. Oh, so now we're supposed to believe this flood of batshit emails and DMs came from a few bored trolls with nothing better to do? Please, these weren't your average "you suck" comments. They were full-blown, unhinged manifestos. One of them called publicist Jen Ale the Hitler of PR and terrorist evil.
Because I am clothed in black. Some of the directors may know what that means. Before you go attacking good people like Blake, be sure of this. There are no secrets to those of us clothed in the darkest black of night. Do not know. What is happening?
I mean, what? Who even writes that unless their brain's been permanently microwaved? That kind of language doesn't pop out of nowhere. That kind of rage gets stirred, triggered, fed by narratives. And guess who was out there tossing gasoline onto every flame like it was couture perfume? Yep, our lovely floral warrior, Blake freaking Lively. And let's not pretend that's where it stopped. Another message, this one addressed to Steve Sarawitz's daughter, was literally titled, "It Ends With You." Not dramatic at all, right? Totally normal to tell a young woman her family's life is about to go up in flames. Again. The message referenced fire starting from the inside.
We are prepared to ruin all of your lives over a little bit of money. The next fire we start will be from the inside. Can you imagine how terrifying that would be?
Sound familiar? That's because it came hot off the heels of that actual arson attack on her driveway. These psychos weren't subtle. They were synchronized with real-world events, like who writes death threats as sequels, and the obsession in these messages? Next level creepy. One line actually said, "You can upgrade your security, we'll still get by." Translation, your gates, guards, cameras, cute. But we're still coming. This isn't trolling. This is targeted terrorism.
More text messages were sent same day. We gave you guys time to consider our offer. Remember, no one is untouchable, not even you guys. You can have someone post it at night. You can leave the lights on. You can upgrade your security, but we will still get by.
These people were locked in, tracking homes, stalking families, and writing like they were scripting Saw 11. And somehow, conveniently, this only started after Blake's team started filing legal documents with private info leaking out like it was Black Friday at TMZ. But wait, it gets even more delusional. These clowns started invoking cult code gibberish like "we are clothed in black" and "we are above every government." Who the hell do they think they are? Sith Lords? Illuminati interns? What's next? A blood moon sacrifice?
We're not asking for millions, just $80,000. That's nothing to you people, the message said. We can do this the easy way, and nobody has to know. All you guys have to do is drop off the money at a public location and disappear. Simple as that. If you'd like to go against us, then so be it. We will not stop. I mean, God, this guy's a moron.
And yet somehow, these deranged lunatics were activated right in the middle of Blake Lively's PR war. You don't need a conspiracy board to see how this storm formed. She cracked open Pandora's box and now acts shocked that demons came out. And just when you thought it couldn't get more toxic, bam, here comes the hate speech. One email veered straight into anti-Semitic sewage, calling Baldoni's team Zionist Israeli Jews doing your job naturally as terrorists. At that point, we're not even talking harassment anymore. We're in federal hate crime territory. Someone brought their personal prejudice, wrapped it in death threats, and sent it like a Hallmark card, all under the cozy umbrella of Blake Lively's fan-base chaos. Isn't that adorable?
I saw a picture of him. I can't imagine him being out there defending Blake Lively, and that's why he did this crime. But I don't think it would have happened unless Blake Lively had sued Justin Baldoni.
And now, because this isn't just some online drama thread, the FBI had to step in. Yes, the actual Federal Bureau of Investigation. Not a PR consultant, not Instagram's content moderation team. The feds? Why? Because this case broke out of California and rolled across state lines like a viral disease. We're talking arson, extortion, cyber harassment, the works. This isn't even a lawsuit anymore. This is a damn manhunt. Authorities coordinated with Highland Park Police and tracked Eduardo Aragon, the Dollar Tree Bond villain who set Steve Sarawitz's garbage can on fire. Real genius move, by the way. Eduardo was caught on surveillance using public library Wi-Fi to send threats. Yes, public Wi-Fi. Because if you're going to commit multiple felonies, might as well do it from the kids' reading corner next to the Clifford books. He admitted everything once caught, like a budget criminal with zero stamina.
Eduardo Aragon of Highland Park, who was seen on surveillance video coming to the library using the Wi-Fi, he then confessed to being the one that started the fire on the property. He admitted to going there, etc., etc. He'd been out of work and needed the money. He was charged with 1 count of arson, 6 counts of intimidation, 1 count of harassment.
And the kicker? The timing. Aragon's threats and attacks all started rolling in right after Blake's court filings. Not days later, not weeks later, immediately. Investigators aren't dumb. They're actively looking at that timing, and legal experts are already side-eyeing the hell out of it. If any direct link is found between these threats and Blake's team, we're talking criminal conspiracy charges. That's not just a bad headline. That's federal indictment territory. And the FBI isn't done sniffing around yet. More subpoenas are coming.
Substantial steps to harm the family and succeeded in placing them in a constant state of fear. This is horrible, horrible stuff. And that's the guy in question. This is Steve and his wife. I mean, what a scumbag. What a despicable, clearly unwell. This is just awful.
Meanwhile, as all this chaos unfolds, where's Blake? Oh, just collecting civil rights awards like she freed Nelson Mandela with a contour brush. While Baldoni's people are dodging threats and building home security like they're prepping for the purge, Blake's out here flashing teeth and designer gowns like she's at a Vogue cover shoot for Victim of the Year. Her PR spin? Smiling through the pain. Ma'am, what pain? Having to walk the carpet in heels?
Because why not? Because she has no care in the world. Terrifying stuff. Even though she's always worrying about her safety, you put them all at risk.
Let's compare. Blake Lively's over there giving speeches. Justin Baldoni's over here watching his entire charity, Wayfarer Foundation, shut down due to security risks. One of them's posting on Instagram. The other's trying not to get firebombed. And yet the media wants to sell us a story where she's the brave one. Get out.
While this is also happening, they've had to shut down their charity foundation, the Wayfarer Charity Foundation. I broke that news, I think yesterday, day before yesterday. While Blake Lively is getting awards for being a civil rights titan, Ryan Reynolds just got some ratchet ass breakfast deal from Tim Hortons that looks atrocious.
Then there's Ryan Reynolds. Oh, Ryan. The man is basically out here producing sketch comedy skits about himself being Father of the Year. He took a stage in Germany, got a phone call from his 5-year-old daughter, and made sure everyone watching had that awe moment. Because nothing screams genuine like a perfectly timed daddy call in the middle of a corporate event. Totally spontaneous, not staged at all. Let's all clap while his wife's legal circus is doxing publicists and handing death threats to...
In order to access their property over fears of their family being attacked, I had to tell my child at school. We've had threats. The source told we even had to build a gate for the security because of the court filings, because they doxed us. We heard about that too, that Blake's team just put all their addresses out for their homes.
And can we please talk about that Met Gala behavior? These two are out there glowing on red carpets like their lives are made of fairy dust and podcast quotes. Meanwhile, Justin and his team are getting "it ends with you" emails. Blake and Ryan are dining with celebrities while other people are sending panic emails to school administrators about death threats aimed at their children. But sure, Vogue said Blake was glowing, so all must be fine. Also, the P. Diddy connection. Remember that little gem? Turns out Blake and Ryan were on the guest list for those infamous parties. The ones now being whispered about in legal documents and investigations?
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively was on P. Diddy's party list. There is a website that are naming all the, I think almost like 100 celebrities that's been invited and appeared at his parties.
And suddenly, Blake has amnesia. No idea, no comment. Girl, you were sipping cocktails at Club Catastrophe and now you want to pretend you've never heard of the DJ? And let's not skip over the biggest irony. While Blake's claiming moral high ground, her legal team was busy leaking private health records and court filings. Health records, not rumors, not tweets, medical, personal, confidential, but sure. Keep painting her as the ethical queen of woke Hollywood while she tears apart people's lives with a legally filed scalpel.
They leaked his health information, his private medical information in their lawsuit. After they demanded all of this privacy. They didn't want their health information out there. They didn't want their address or their friends and family and all these different things.
Because that's what this really is. Not a legal battle, not a reputation issue. This is a precision attack launched with lipstick and litigation. She smeared reputations, endangered families, then hid behind a red carpet smile. Her fan base followed like angry sheep, unleashing a wave of bile that triggered the feds. And now that it's all boiling over, she wants to act like her hands are clean. Honey, they're not clean. They're radioactive.
These are real damages. These are real issues. We're not seeing any of this from Blake. We didn't see actual proof of the allegations. We still don't see proof of the damages. We see her jetting off to all these premieres, autographs, interviews. Everything seems to be applauded and she's all fine.
But let's talk TikTok. You know, the platform where creators are literally watching their audio vanish into thin air the second they mention the words Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds. Entire clips glitch out. Content gets demonetized. Views get choked out faster than a PR scandal at an award show. Coincidence? Sure. And I'm the Queen of Denmark. Try uploading anything remotely critical, and the algorithm slaps you like you insulted its mother. You're telling me that's just random platform behavior? Please. Even the bots don't buy that.
Not only are they facing all these threats, but like I said in the beginning, now they've been forced to fold the foundation.
Now let's take a stroll through the smoldering wreckage Blake left behind. Wayfarer Studios, dead. Wayfarer Foundation, gone. Both torched, not by fire, but by Blake's smear tactics dressed up in legal jargon. These weren't shady organizations. They were funding diverse, community-driven films, actually helping people. But helping people doesn't make headlines. And God forbid a charitable effort makes Blake look like the bad guy. So naturally, she gutted it.
Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's having to shut down his charity. Wayfarer's having to shutter their doors. And now all of them are getting death threats while she lives her best life, acting like she's Barbie.
Steve Sarowitz, the billionaire who just wanted to fund some movies and be left alone, is now plastered all over court documents and FBI files. He didn't sign up for fame. He sure as hell didn't sign up to be targeted by some lunatic threatening to kidnap his daughter over $80,000. But that's what happens when you get dragged into Blake's PR war zone. He's not a headline. He's collateral damage.
That's Steve's wife and daughter, and there's obviously the arsonist, a disgusting, despicable guy. So not only are they facing all these threats, but like I said in the beginning, now they've been forced to fold the foundation. So look, it's important to share this because these are real damages.
And what about the rest of the team? Melissa Nathan, Jamie Heath, Jennifer Ale. You'd think they were masterminds of a coup based on how Blake's filings painted them. But nope, they're just professionals. Or at least they were, before being shoved into hiding like mafia witnesses. Now they're living with threats, ducking cameras, and hoping Blake's fanatics don't show up at their doors with pitchforks and botched lip filler.
Jennifer Abel, more coming in, stupid, blank, pathetic excuse of a woman you really protected and abused. Look at this is shit. This is awful.
Then there's Jed Wallace. Remember him? The PR fixer accused of weaponizing digital armies. The man never even got served properly. Yet, Blake's team splashed his name across documents like it was a bonus round in a smear contest. The result? His career took a direct hit, no warning, no chance to respond. But Blake dropped him later, so it's fine, right? Wrong. His name is already stamped into the scandal. that stain doesn't wash off.
The real true damages that they're facing, as now we're learning more about the PR people involved, by Tag, Melissa Nathan, etc., Jed, all these people that were learning they had to build a gate.
And Justin Baldoni, the guy who just wanted to release a movie and maybe raise a little awareness, now he's gone full off-grid and Hawaii mode like he's dodging bounty hunters. Instead of preparing for a press tour, he's probably checking the bushes for drones. That's what Blake's legal tantrum turned his life into. A Hollywood actor turned into a fugitive from his own reputation.
Meanwhile, where's Justin? Where's the family? Oh, they're somewhere off, and they're all getting threats. They're having to shut everything down. This is awful, all because she got some bad press.
Let's be real. The truth always leaks. Doesn't matter how pretty your Instagram grid is. Doesn't matter how many media outlets lick your boots. At some point, the lies crack. In Blake's case, the cracks are now gaping chasms. This wasn't just a feud. This was a calculated demolition. The receipts are on the table. The emails, the bots, the legal docs, the damage. No amount of Vogue covers can stitch it back together. This wasn't a bad headline. This wasn't mean tweets. This was FBI tier fallout. We're talking criminal investigations, arson threats, forced shutdowns, destroyed careers. This is what happens when a pastel princess throws a tantrum with million-dollar lawyers on speed dial. And instead of checking her ego, she launched an all-out war disguised as victimhood. She paraded as a role model while doxing professionals. She played the victim while dragging families through hell. She used the courts like a personal diary and pretended the backlash was just trolls being mean. But behind every curated selfie is a wrecking ball in heels. The facade is cracking, and we all see the rot underneath. Blake might have dodged a few headlines, but the truth has its own algorithm, one that doesn't get throttled or demonetized, one that doesn't need bot armies to trend. And it's finally catching up to her. Her Barbie mask is splitting. The PR glitter's wearing off. What's left isn't empowerment, it's exposure. And no stylist on earth can fix that. Blake's mask is slipping fast. Subscribe now, because the next chapter in this chaos is only getting darker.